The Rolling Giant. The Rolling Giant is a lurching, trolley-legged monstrosity that haunts the underground malls of the backrooms and the darkest corners of your peripheral vision. It's part monster, part shopping cart, part yuppie art installation, all nightmare. Info on the creature comes from multiple entries in Kane Pixels' The Oldest View series. In Part 3 of The Oldest View, the giant arrives in full force. We get eerie glimpses of its looming presence, the dread mounting like somebody's credit card debt, and our protagonist Wyatt stuck in the monstrous orbit of this Burning Man reject. There are stairs, dark rooms, beams buckling, and an air of merciless absurdity. Then comes Dispersal, the supposed true ending of The Oldest View. It opens with that now all too familiar wooden door retreating into darkness, plunging us into blackness. Wyatt, somehow alive, flees through a forest under a foreboding sky, battered and breathless, climbing stairs, creeping back toward reality. He finally reaches his car, breathes, and drives off. Except we cut to a rear-view mirror, and guess what's rolling behind him down the road? Yup, the Rolling Giant, obeying traffic laws, sticking to the right side of the road, casually trailing behind. So the lore winds up with a chilling twist. The giant escapes its mall prison, follows Wyatt to the surface, and rolls onward. Whether it's permanently defeated? I mean, don't bet your tires on it. The Bat. Batman, or Bruce Thomas Wayne, if you're unfamiliar, was supposed to be the hero. Born to Thomas and Martha Wayne, orphaned by their brutal murders and haunted by grief. However, this Bruce doesn't quite make the leap into the known Batman myth. Instead, after Alfred dies, apparently of a stroke some weeks after the Wayne's death, Bruce fractures and becomes even more emo than he already was, which is inevitable if everyone you love dies when you're like 9. Years in hiding, a descent into madness, isolation, and experiments with venom-like drugs lead to a nightmare. Bruce returns, not as savior of Gotham, but as judge, jury, executioner, the Bat. Clad in costume, skinnier, ghostly pale, possibly enhanced, obsessed with justice. Maybe he's not totally different than he was already, just less jacked. But by justice, he means deadly, brutal punishment for anyone he deems criminal. He starts with Arkham Asylum in 1959. 4 high-profile inmates, Pamela Isley, Waylon Jones, Kirk Langstrom, and John Doe, are found savagely mutilated, the 3 dead, arranged in bat-like grotesqueries. At least he stays on brand. Patient John Doe survives, mentally shattered. The Bat vanishes into the static. GCPD tapes, corrupted recordings, Gordon's audio logs, all fragments pointing to Bruce as the Bat. Stories of burning down Cord Industries, kidnapping members of the Bat family, brainwashing, torturing, leaving victims as grim warnings. Over 40 murders, perhaps more, many brutal. In his warped worldview, there is no redemption for the wicked. Death is the only escape. In this twisted version of Batman, Wayne probably listens to the Black Veil Brides. Gotham trembles. The line between hero and monster is erased. The costume fits him now, not literally since he's way less yoked. And it's not just a mask, but the shape of his torment. SCP-067. SCP-067 is the digital horror meme child that makes The Grudge look like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. SCP-067 is a Keter tier, world-ending anomaly masquerading as a boy named Mason. Don't confuse him with the kid version or the SCP-Pen version. Yes, the lore gets confusing. He's got enough power to make your average supervillain weep. Mouth transformations, eyes that morph into the numbers 6 and 7. Yes, literally. Beams of light, shadows, size scaling up to swallow galaxies, teleportation, mind control, disease transmission, super speed, invulnerability in space, plus the ability to stalk people so quietly they'll gaslight themselves. He's like your nightmares if they got into mommy's anabolic steroids. Weaknesses? Apparently none noted, because of course. Scholars are still finding them. No official victories or defeats are recorded because you don't beat a meme god. You just wait until it shows up less on your For You page. Unfortunately, if he's anything like the Demure thing, this will take no less than 6 months. In short, SCP-067 is the unholy offspring of meme meets cosmic horror. A being born from TikTok's 6-7 kid edits, wielding apocalyptic power, and lurking in comment sections chanting 6-7. RIP to any clueless witnesses over the age of 25. The Crescent King. The Crescent King, also called His Majesty, no ego there, waits deep in the cosmic underside of the Nixonverse. He is not born in the way we mere mortals are born. Instead, he drifts across realities, a mimetic immortal, a being so entangled with myth, fear, and rumor that his very existence reshapes how people see the world. Scary King Baby is scary. His origin on our dirt planet is tied to Eli Tillin, a local astronomer who becomes both herald and vessel at the command of alien starfish. They proclaim Eli is destined to host the king like a male Madonna. after resisting by trying to spoil his own body to make possession impossible, which is a hilarious reason to eat Twizzlers and Baja Blast until you puke. Eli fails. His neural pathways are hijacked. The Crescent King takes up residence in him, sharing flesh and mind, flipping control between man and godlike entity. I don't really get the trepidation because I wouldn't mind giving up control of my corporeal form for a few hours. From there, the king begins instilling dread. Houses in the ocean become visible across bodies of water, although personally I'd assume some. A billionaire had reinvented the houseboat, and other ominous goings-on appear. Though many attempts are made to stop him, resistance, counter-legends, even war, the Crescent King is persistent. And even if he is temporarily unmasked or slowed, the myth endures, like the most annoying meme of all, the Smile Tapes. The Smile Tapes is an analog horror series built around a drug made from mysterious fungal spores that forces people to wear an eternal grin and smash their way through anyone not already infected. Volume 1 introduces the horror, unexplained deaths and patients developing mania, facial cramps, involuntary laughter, and violent behavior. The Smile Investigation Journal suggests a fungal cause. One patient's face eventually rots into a permanent smile, and both he and his ER buddies succumb in gruesome fashion. Another guy named Sean is attacked with flour, more likely some biochemical ambush, while bringing his pup to the vet. He then logs bizarre dreams, increasingly forced smiles, and eventually goes on a murderous rampage on New Year's, only after his dog dies, which is the real tragedy. Volume 2 ups the body count, 1,489 dead, 5,000 hospitalized. The fungus mutates, spawning multiple variants. A, B, C, and C is scariest. The infected are bulletproof, super strong, almost unstoppable. Picture grinning World War Z. Government officials make public safety announcements. The infected, or similes, cute, right? Begin to spread insidiously. It might be contagious, but we're not sure. But what could be better than serving up smiles? Greylock. Greylock is an analog horror YouTube saga, started March 13th, 2023 and still going strong, that turns Berkshire County, Massachusetts into a cosmic scratch and sniff nightmare. The series is framed like a collection of found tapes, the Greylock archives, exposing weird phenomena surrounding Mount Greylock and the secretive goings-on beneath and around it. The episodes, or tapes, are numbered 001 through 012 so far, each escalating the weirdness. Missing babies, eerie intruders, thought forms, signal hijacks, morphed humans. The full buffet of analog horror staples. Tape 001 greets us with security footage in an abandoned Semiodyne facility. By tape 002, you're cruising at night, hearing ominous preacher quotes sputtering through the radio, stumbling on blood trails, and doing all the things the horror audience is screaming at you not to. Later, tapes introduce Unit 13 and the Thought Form Manifester. Signal intrusions, forbidden experiments, haunted home invasions, and postpartum vanishings that make Carrie blush. Tape 012, waking your subconscious, cranks things to 11. A dark figure creeps forward, dogs and humans fuse in basements. And I thought Full Metal Alchemist was the last time I would see that, if you know, you know. And the line between viewer and subject blurs. In short, Greylock is where analog horror meets a conspiracy podcast, meets that weird shadow person you almost kind of see standing in your doorway. If you like your terror smeared with static, mundanity corrupted, and cosmic dread served cold, this is your bread and butter. This makes me wonder, what's the weirdest thing you guys have seen driving at night? Bonus points if you're Russian. I feel like something whack is going on over there. The Witch. The Witch is a pleasant hostess who just happens to collect souls, manipulate wolves, and mistreat unfortunate German siblings. In the Foximation's analog horror saga, she lurks behind every creaking floorboard and crooked smile, pulling strings like a malevolent puppet master. By day, or whatever passes for day in her gingerbread trap house, she's all honeyed words and sinister hospitality. By night, or when she's feeling spicy, she reveals her true smoke-veined visage, wielding shape-shifting, dark magic, and the cold cruelty of someone who's bought more souls than she can count. Still kind of want to gnaw on a gingerbread wall, though, her earliest masterpiece, tricking a young wolf into a Faustian bargain. It's not clear what Wolf Boy gets out of the deal, though. The cost? His soul. The bonus? He becomes her tool, slaughtering for her desires while she sits back, cackling. And she doesn't stop there. Gretel gets lured, deceived, and tied up. Hansel's fate is revealed in gruesome flair, and the witch rips off the curtain of illusion to expose that she was orchestrating almost everything behind the scenes. We love a dramatic queen. In a final twist of grim irony, Gretel, armed with a pistol, because yes, ghosts and fairy tales do that now, keeps things efficient. pews the witch through her forehead, shoulder, and heart. But because in horror you can't just die, she's dragged off to hell by the big bad wolf, flames licking her ankles as her reign of terror finally ends. And thus ends the chapter of the witch, less a subtle spellcaster, more a cosmic troll with a flair for theatrical cruelty. Cthonaut A. Cthonaut A, in the wild, time-shattering multiverse of the Monument mythos, is less of a man born in a timeline obliterated by something ominously dubbed the Great Division. He's not just from another universe, he's from a dead one. That trauma built a timeline-hopping, dimension-patching cosmic fixer who's had enough of humanity's nonsense. Cthonaut A isn't your average interdimensional tourist. He charges in like an emotionally scarred time cop, doing whatever it takes to prevent more universes from getting curb-stomped by metaphysical disasters, and looking pretty the whole way. He's short-tempered, no-nonsense, and deathly allergic to your excuses. But beneath the gruff exterior, there's a flicker of something rare. He genuinely values kindness. Not performative, Instagram-filtered kindness. Real, inconvenient, sacrificial kindness. The kind that can save a universe, literally. Barf. Throughout the Monument Mythos Season 3, he appears during key events like What Caused the Moon War, frequently clashing with alternate versions of reality. The Montyverse, the Deanverse, and probably the entire verse. He fights angels, disrupts timelines, and delivers fourth wall-breaking monologues like a Shakespearean ghost to Queen Elizabeth. At one point, he even proposes a deal. He'll leave the timeline in peace if he can witness just one true act of kindness. No pressure, humanity. With powers that let him bend time and skip across realities like YouTube ads, Cthonaut A is both a warning and a challenge. He's the embodiment of what happens when knowledge, pain, and power are forced to coexist. Just like Winona Ryder. Thanks for watching. I'm loving the new analog horror series coming out lately. Which one is your favorite? Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.